at different inflections on how they want to say. You might have dot points, and the first thing I had was I had my sheet there, and I literally had handwritten. I had a paper version. I hadn't written notes there. The dot points say so that I wouldn't forget certain key points. And it's just it is purely practice. You got to get used to hearing your own voice, used to understanding at what point people are going to ask questions, or in my case, I actually know where most people are going to ask questions, and I actually roll that up. Yeah. And so I'll either have somebody that's like really want to ask questions, and then because you've really only got 45 to 50 minutes absolutely tops in a 1 hour presentation, because 10 minutes is introductions, people running late, and then people taking off early for the next meeting. So you've literally got to get in there and just go bang and deliver it, which means if you've got 50 minutes, that means you've got probably 30 minutes to get your presentation out of the way, because you want to spend as much time as you can pushing messages on people on the platform. Yeah. So it's gangbusters by the time you start to understand. So mate, if you just go to Common Shared Drive, and for Igor, and yep, that one.
Where's Rajiv? I tried calling you. That's right.
So I've Telstrafied mine. Because most of the stuff I do is through Telstra. So if you just sort of scan through just generically in the slides, mate. Introduction. I also run the standard video. I think we actually need to update the video. I'm still looking at the Singapore one, but the actual story in it is really good, because it's the sort of thing that you can't go through. And if you want to give an overview and visual view to sort of tie together what is actual Whisper, the video is actually hard to beat. And I actually just continue to sort of scroll through.
So that's the video.
Skip that. We'll cover that in a minute. Then I talk about actual communication and the environment that people are in when they're either trying to send a message or trying to receive a message, and this is the thought process that you need to go through for anything, whether it's emergency management or seeing an appointment reminder or whatever. Then the next one down, mate. Then I talk about understanding processes, and it's actually the process that you need to consider, not just the messaging solution. So as soon as you start talking process, objective outcome, then you can start to go into that. And then if you go next one down.
So I'll say this is a very important slide. This is where you win your customers, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'll cover this off in a minute, but as you can see, what I'm doing is we're talking about people in general, then designing what the communication needs to look like. And the next one down is this one's all about aligning the platform to the process that you just spoke about. So you can sort of see I've started taking the journey, because most of these people in here that you will present to are either line managers or they're senior managers, and they have no bloody idea what half of them don't know what the project's about, sure as hell don't know anything about Whisper, and then don't know how a Whisper will apply or fit into their project. So you've literally got to take them on a journey all the way through. And then the next one down is, then I basically talk about the ins and outs, so how you get information in and out of the platform. And then I basically go into demonstration. So I keep it really sort of short and sharp in terms of getting people conceptually understanding what the process is. And then it's basically straight into the platform for demonstrations and whatever they've talked about.
So this is very different from how Sage Chartered present.
Look, probably it shouldn't be that dissimilar. He probably might cover a little bit more on the platform, but I spend a lot more time in talking about process. Because as soon as I talk about process, I can talk about everything that they need, and I can also find out more about what they're trying to do. So that by the time I get into the demo, I can specifically,
yes,
absolutely, yes. Because at the end of the day, so like if you go back to the start, and I'll take you through it, because that's where this slide here becomes really important about objective and outcome. And their outcome is they actually want to get a message out to somebody, but they actually don't understand what sort of outcome they want to get. And that's where we want to find that.
So I think as a customer, this is more targeted to customers that know what they're looking for, right?
Yeah. No, not necessarily. No, I use the same demos. I think I use the same demo whether I'm demonstrating to emergency services and they know exactly what they want, or if I'm just going in for a generic presentation to somebody.
Comes to the end of the meeting, and then like one I went to with you, you were more explaining the process and how you could help and how Whisper could help.
Yeah.
Streamline everything, explaining that to them.
Yeah, exactly. So one of them is this is how we're going to do it, and the other is this is how we would apply it. So, yep. So anyway, I'll make a start if you like. So
Yeah.
just do it.
It's good.
Time for. Okay. So always kick off introductions and background. Hi, I'm Igor from Whisper. I've been with Whisper for coming up to 5 years. Previous role was head of risk and business continuity for the 000 service. So I've got a lot of strong background and experience in managing communications and, more importantly, understanding processes to deliver those communications. Part of the agenda today is I'll give you a bit of background of what is Whisper and what we do and the services that we provide. More importantly, technology is only as good as the processes that it's actually supporting. So we're going to talk about processes and how we actually use communications to improve those processes. Then we're going to jump into a demonstration and discussion of proofs in the pudding, which is once you start to see messages going around. And we cover off some next steps at the end of that, just to find out where you're at in your process and what we can do to help forward with that. So you're going to drive that.
And then he hands out business cards, which is a nice touch to start.
Oh yeah, no, I always do the intro as well before that. So I'm assuming you've all seen the video, so I won't sort of go into that.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, just play it. And...
oh shit.
Whisper is a conversation platform that gives your business the ability to communicate across multiple channels simultaneously from a single interface. Multi-channel and multilingual, Whisper helps you engage with your customers, staff, and stakeholders in the way they want to be engaged, by voice, email, text, web, social media, and more. Whisper delivers a scalable conversation platform across the globe. It has been designed to simply and intuitively enable collaboration. Delivery of rich, branded, and interactive content will exceed the expectations of your customers and differentiate your brand in the market. Geospatial awareness of the messages, responses, and locations of your people, customers, assets, and vehicles can take your business outcomes to the next level. And real-time dashboards and reporting services let you see what is happening as it happens. Whisper's mobile application provides access through many devices to a powerful conversation platform, so you can start the conversation from anywhere. The use of mapping brings new levels of visibility, control, and experience to the management of service impacting issues in your organization, delivered through rich, tailored, personalized, branded, and relevant communications. Create the conversation with Whisper.
So as you can see, the video actually gives a really good cross-section of what the platform actually does without having to drill down into any of the functionality side of it. I actually think it's actually a great video, but it just needs to be, I'll say, updated a little bit more in terms of the messaging and the types of things that we actually do. So continuing on from there though, what we're actually doing though is what we're trying to do is communicate with people. And different people have got different profiles of how they like to choose to communicate. During business hours, we've got a business hours profile, so people can catch me on my email, voice, text message, but I don't check social media and I don't check my personal email until after hours. So different people, depending on when you want to try and contact them, have actually got a different profile. So when it comes to communicating with people, we actually need to change how we communicate, basically to get the best cut through. Now, when we talk about the communication environment, there's two sides to a communication. There's the person that wants to try and send the message and the person that you're actually trying to send the message to. And particularly when we're talking crisis management or incident communications, this becomes really important. Because right now we might be in a good working environment. We've got power, internet, telephony, all those sorts of tools. But if we're in a disaster situation and I need to get an emergency message out, I actually may be sitting in a room with no lights on. So I need to actually start to consider how the person is actually going to trigger the message, and B is, well, I might be sending a person set up that's in the exact same situation that all they've got is their mobile phone. So I need to consider the environment that I am in when I'm sending a message. So keep going on the next one. So when it comes down to it, it's the processes within any organisation that drive success. You can have the best technology in the world, but the best technology in the world that's managed with a poor process, you'll still get a poor outcome. But a good process, irrespective of what tool you've got, will actually accommodate bad technology. And what we're trying to do here is actually support and build the best of both worlds. So good process with a good technology platform. And we actually do that by starting to align the communications with what you're actually trying to achieve. So with any process, there's a process that you go through for anything you want to do, whether it's appointment reminders, emergency management, two-factor authentication or PIN notifications. It doesn't matter what it is, but there's a process that supports that. And aligned with that, there's a communication process as well. And they're two discrete and different things. So with every process, you've got an objective and an outcome. And if I use an example of an appointment reminder, the appointment reminder is I actually want somebody to turn up to their appointment on the allotted time and date and be prepared to meet that and to turn up to that appointment. If they don't turn up, then that's actually going to cause me pain in terms of process. So what we start to do is we look at the type of process or communication we want to send out. And it's 3 simple steps. What type of message do I need to send? So is it critical, operational, or informational? So critical, do I need to get cut through and make the phones ring? Is it informational or operational? Well, it's just a daily standard message that goes out. Or is it informational? So a planned outage or planned notification where I can just afford to send that via email. I don't need to make people's phones ring. So I start to consider how I want this to be delivered. Second of all, which is probably the most important, who actually needs to receive the message. Now, I've actually been with Whisper now for coming up to 5 years. I've never seen anybody manage a single source of truth and contact information anywhere. So if anyone ever tells you, this is my idea, if anyone ever tells you we've got all this sorted, it's never the case. So when it comes to understanding who they actually want to send their messages to, they need to understand where their single source of truth for contact information is coming from, how detailed that information is, how accurate it is, how they sort of feel that they can actually communicate out to people. And then once we've got information like that within Whisper, the more detailed it is, we can actually then start to break down and specifically target individuals based on the metadata that's associated with their contact. So where are they located? What products do they use, consume, buy? What have been the spending habits? Have they got any other members of any particular teams or any particular skills? We can actually start to then group and then target messaging specifically to those people. And thirdly, how and when should I say it? Now, this is always one of the most overlooked and what I consider common sense areas. So geo-targeted information, more importantly, appointment reminders and sending things at appropriate time. So don't send people appointment reminders at 10, 11 o'clock at night for the next day. You've got to give them adequate timing and information to actually align so they can save the information and respond to that themselves. At the end of the day, with every process, what you're actually doing is you're actually trying to get somebody to do something. And I say this all the time because you're actually sending a message because you want them to do something. It might be buy a product, evacuate a building, turn up to a particular location, or respond to a message. But you're actually sending them a communication because you want them to actually adhere to your process. So if they don't respond or behave in the manner that you want, well, then you may as well not have sent the message to them in the first place. That's basically it. And a good example of this is evacuate notification. I send a notification out to 100 people, are you safe? And half the people respond yes, half the people respond with random different types of messages. And what that basically means is I've got 100 people, I've only got a certain percentage that I know that are safe and well. And all of these other people have responded with all this garbage. So now I've got to go through and triage through every one of them to go, yes, that's a valid response. No, that's not. Yes, that is. And basically it's taking me away from my process. So what we need to do then is structure that communication in a way that will actually align with my process and get my responses back. So kick off next one. So the way that we look at this, and I always use incident management as a good example because everyone's managed an incident of some way, shape or form in their life. But incident management and incident communications are two completely separate things. So incident management, we'll go through 1 to 1,000 steps to manage an incident, but incident communications is really communication occurs at a discrete point within that process. So in the case here, incident, there's an initial notification. Somebody has to tell somebody that something's happened, right? There's a response activation. So once somebody's told somebody, well, we've got to do something about it, so we activate a response. There's an incident update. So after a certain period has passed, we've promised someone to give them an update about what's going on. If it's a big incident, we'll do many updates. And then obviously third of that is an incident close. But as you can see, as we basically progress through that, all we're actually doing is starting to ask and answer 3 simple questions in terms of aligning Whisper to your process. So 3 steps there. Step 1 is at a base level is who's sending the message, who's responsible for it. Now that can be a person, it could be a monitoring device, it could be an application. It really doesn't matter what it is. What message do I need to send? In other words, what message template do I need to create in Whisper? And third of all, who do I actually need to send that to? What distribution list? So as you can see, as I go through each of my communication points, and it becomes a really logical way to break down any process, is I can actually apply that process right across Whisper at any point. So if I wanted to then say, look at a bill notification or an appointment reminder for, say, going to the dentist or something like that, well, I can draw a baseline along the bottom there and then sort of mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever. What points do I need to actually interact with somebody? And then all they actually need to do is actually draw a line up there. Who's sending the message, what message they need to send, and who do they need to send it to? So an appointment reminder for going to the dentist might be, well, I ring up, customer rings up to the dentist, they speak to the receptionist looks at their processes, they look at the calendar. Oh yes, there's an appointment available at 3 o'clock on Friday. So we have a line that goes up, who's sending the message, the receptionist on the desk, what message are they sending, appointment reminder notification, and who are they sending it to? Well, they're sending it to the person or the patient that I've actually spoken to, so the mobile number's sitting there. And it is literally a 1-step process. You may have a second one for maybe the day before the actual appointment. So one on the call, one on the day before, and you just basically repeat the process through that. So you can apply the same process to a simpler appointment reminder, or in the case of what we do for emergency services for the statewide warning, we actually do exactly the same thing. The templates may be a little bit more complex, but the actual process is precisely the same. Almost went to go hit forward on there myself. So as we go through that process, then there's two sides to that. Is depending on who's sending the message and who I actually want to send that to, I've got some ins and outs of information on the platform. At the end of the day, getting communications to anyone is actually just about transferring data. So I've got data in my head, data on my PC, or data in an application that I need to get to somebody else. And I can translate that into a different format. So we call this multi-channel communication, or if I'm going from email to SMS, we actually call that cross-channel communication. So in the case here, we can send out some communications. So we've got web access via web portal, which I'll log on and do a demonstration on in a minute. I've also got mobile apps, call-in IVRs, SMS, email, basically any format of communication or information that you can get from a current or legacy system. We can pull that information into Whisper and then actually broadcast that out into multi-channels going out the other side. When I want to send communications to people from a process perspective, I can send targeted communications via voice, email, SMS, or mobile web. I can also send retrievable communications, so I can actually post information to a set location. So in the event of a large organisation-wide incident, I can post information to a specific location, and then people can actually text in or ring in, and they'll automatically bounce back with information. So it frees up the reception line or the call tree within contact centres and things like that. We also do published communication, so one-to-many relationship for communication. So talking social media websites, intranet sites, basically anywhere you want to post information. You can also post information out to a web service that can be consumed by other mobile apps and other websites as well. So you can start to spider out information for communications from there, not just from the core application, but from providing services to other organisations as well. At the end of the day, any information that goes backwards and forwards from Whisper can actually, if that channel supports it, we can actually provide that communication. So I can have somebody out in the field that can actually SMS into the platform, trigger off a workflow. That workflow will then broadcast in the other communications back out to another format or another group of people. They can go backwards and forwards. We can sort of push information and communications backwards and forwards from that. So if you just from here, if you just go to the next one. Normally, what I do at this point is I've got a registration number here. So as an example of how to text into the platform and kick off a workflow, text in register to this. That allows them to register to them for the demonstration. And basically, I jump into the platform and go through a demo from there. Bang. But specifically from here, normally I have a bit more of a chat to say, right, what am I here for? what are your pain points in terms of, crisis comms, and, I've got a generally good idea. But then once I go into the demo, I've got, I think about 7 or 8 standard demonstration templates, and I basically will take them through that little same thought process. That's it.
Question?
It'd be good for one day when we finally get texting numbers for ourselves to be able to.
Well, really, you don't need texting numbers for yourself. You can just get the texting number that's already there and just add on an extra keyword.
So,
Okay.
so I could have SMS the word Igor to that, and it'll put me on my DL. You can have
Keyword.
Nice,
Yeah.
you should show that you
Which,
don't need the texting number if you just get that numbers and send message
Yeah.
played out anyway.
Yep.
You don't really need the
I
text.
prefer a texting number.
the only time where a texting number is, so there's 2 things. If you have a texting number, it doesn't bring in their first name, last name, unless you've already loaded their contact details in there. So you lose the personalisation of any of the messages that you want to send.
Just
I
showing.
was going to say, what I do in demonstrations, and you saw it in the city of Melbourne, which I stuffed up a bit, but I get them to text in and I go them through the whole process because CRM was one of their big questions, and I showed them how the address book worked, then you see how you modify contacts, and it just added names quickly.
Necessary. It's just a nice feature.
Yeah. So when you go back to this one here, so these 2 slides here, when I actually do my demonstration, I actually go in because I've gone and got them to text in. I show them how the distribution list is built. I show them where the information is coming from. So effectively, I go and demonstrate this sort of thought process. So templates, how you build them, content and information, and the thought process behind it. I also demonstrate the difference between a standard text message and a rich message, because as soon as I talk rich message, then what I'm actually doing is I've actually lift the whole conversation out of a standard messaging conversation. Text message is a one-way information. It says just turn up to your appointment. And as soon as I send a rich message, then I'm actually talking about the content in there and the workflow. So when I go back to this one here, then what I'm doing here's my overarching process. I might have a process here that as they're going through this, they go, right, when I send my initial appointment reminders out, I get a lot of people that ring up to say, oh yeah, but what am I meant to wear when I turn up, or things like that. So these are the things you put into your templates to actually offset pain points in other parts of the process that a normal text message would never actually address. So this is where it becomes really important then to go back, start to analyze what are they actually trying to do, where are their pain points, or where are their high activity points, because they might not even know. They might say, oh, we always send a message reminder for bill payments out to 100 people once a month for overdue. But all they need to do is actually, if they wanted to cut off all of those callbacks, all they may need to do is just put a link to their automatic bill payment, and they might be able to get 20% of those. So that means their contact center is not actually getting impacted, and therefore there's a whole knock-on effect within their process that they didn't even know they could address. And that's the important part about having that helicopter view that helps them start to break down. There's a little bit more to just sending a text message.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
There's my time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Beautiful. 1 minute past. I'm only 5 minutes now. So I'm happy to. So I've kept those slides. Those slides have been around for ages. I've not seen personally, for me, my style, and for what I like to sort of take people through, anything in the new deck stuff that addresses how I like to cover. I'm happy to change any of that. And also keen to get some feedback as well.
Your slide number 5, there is one that's similar to that, except it doesn't have, like with the new branding, except it doesn't have the objective and outcome bit, which
It's just got the middle part.
it does, and it's also got a 4th step saying what is the response, action, and analysis I will require. So, but I think it's important to show that objective and outcome.
Absolutely, because there has to be a reason of why you're sending the message in the first place, and how can you target and address this, whether or not you've been successful by it. Otherwise, if you're not sort of I mean, this goes back into, part of the presentation is then you cover off, the status reports and things like that. So you get an audit report that you can say, right, if I've gone and built this structured message and I've thought about all this stuff, then right, after a month, if I go and tweak this and I know the one thing I have changed and all my stats changed, I've actually can show that I've showed consideration in the actual design of the communication in the first place. And therefore, if I change one thing, I can judge what that outcome is going to be. So it becomes really important to actually, for a customer to think this thing through, because they may go through and make changes and see no impact and not even understand why in the first place. So probably the best customer we've got for all that is Department of Employment. Every once in a while, they actually go through, because they send out 130,000, 150,000 messages a day. And they do every once in a while batches of 10,000 where they'll just tweak a message here and there. And then they'll see how that goes over a period of time. And they're actually really interesting on how they change their messages. So we're just about to introduce rich messaging to their process. But rich messaging in their process is not about, it's not about not only changing the process here, but their theory has always been, I'm going to send a text message because I can't guarantee that everyone's got a smartphone. And therefore I have to always go with the lowest common denominator. And I've basically gone back into them and said, I've argued, yes, that may be true, but what you're also doing is you're holding your own organisation back from innovation to get other gains in other parts of the business purely because of the lowest common denominator. So let's account for both. And so we've built a demo, Christian's built a demo text message. I'm up there on Wednesday and they're going to run trials on a couple of their smaller comms processes to see how that all goes. And that's part of it. They're keen to innovate, but the perception is that they can't innovate purely because they're a government department and they've got to keep So it's a catch-22, and I've argued with them, just break the mold, and it's only going to be a matter of time. You'll probably get better gains out of that versus just staying in the same service.
The beauty with the SMS web link at the end of it is that the information is already there in the SMS as well. So
yeah, exactly.
If they don't have a smartphone, they're going to get the information anyway by SMS.
Yep. But again, it's getting back to the process, and it's how can we actually enhance the experience and remove other pain points within the process itself. And that's completely removing from the actual message itself of other areas of the business that I can actually support by adding something in.
Do you want to go back now or like?
I'll come and see. I've literally got to be on
I
site
figured.
like 2 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
cool.
So, but yeah, that'd be great.
Good luck. Thanks, mate.
Thank you all.
See you guys.
Oh, hi.
Can you send through a copy of that? I'd like to see the video in its
Yeah. So we're gonna.
that one slide would be interesting to me.
So I'm recording it. I've recorded everything.
The way you present is very different to how we present to TV.
Yeah,
Totally different.
no, I understand that.
It is. So, I mean, you can see there was no talk of here are our existing customers. Let me just go through 6 slides of how many customers we got, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, it's just a different style, whether you like that or not. I mean,
Even using run through, because I went to one meeting with him, even the run through of the functionality of this was pretty basic. We just sat there half the time speaking about the solution given based on the product.
I mean, you can, once you get to the demo, that's the part where the questions come out. So it's either you spend most of the time in the demonstration and then people start asking questions, oh, how do you do that? Oh, we can do this for this and this, that. So it's probably more of a case of once the customer sees a presentation, the wheels start turning in their head and they go, oh, I can do this for customer engagement. I can do this for my IT incident. I can do this for my incident communications or whatever it is, right? I mean, it's
Half of them wouldn't even log into Whisper 1 second.
exactly. They're the people that you usually present to are the decision makers.
Yeah.
So you just got to give them an idea.
He uses it just as a go between different programs.
Exactly.
and then
So,
programs
Again,
and-
if anything, it just proves that it exists. Like
Yeah.
here's how you log in. Here's a demonstration. there's a million uses for it, and then their head starts,
Phoning and
yeah,
yeah.
and then they go, okay,
That's why he does so well because he knows the product that intricately.
and even if they ask questions, he'll have an answer because he's done it so many times. He knows the product inside out. He'll answer the questions in the meeting. They'll ask, "Oh, what about CRM?" And he'll take it out.
That's all right up on the whiteboard.
Sorry.
Let's write it all up on the whiteboard, but then you've done everything. And
Yeah.
just explain it to them.
Yeah. So he can answer the questions right there rather than I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why he's more. So did you guys want to run through
So go to the
the?
bathroom. Clear.
Yeah. Cool.
Bring waters for everybody.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say not for me, but yeah. Let me.
Yeah, so if you could send through that, is that Eagle's deck?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'll be interested to,
And literally, that's all you need. So if we go through our slide deck that exists on Google Drive, so these all still have to be rebranded. So
But the thing with that deck is that that wasn't even close to the most compelling part of the presentation. Like the slides were almost irrelevant to what he was saying.
exactly,
And you were listening to him rather than looking at the slides. So
Yes.
the slides were like so complex. I didn't like take the time to read them properly, and I didn't see how they were related to what he was saying. But like it's how colloquially he explained everything that just like made sense. It was like a brilliant combination of like technical concepts with really down to earth examples that you
Yeah.
can understand.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
the slides didn't even seem to relate to
yes.
that.
So
So that the deck is almost irrelevant to how he presents.
I agree 100%.
yeah. And also very much targeted to a certain audience.
Well,
Well, it's
in
targeted to
crisis
people
comms.
who know what they're talking about. The deck is, but he's able to explain it to like both, obviously.
So I mean, I think ideally he's targeted his to incident comms because that's effectively the most complex solution you're going to have, right? Incident comms is one of those things where you have a start, you have a finish, but then how you do that is more complex than customer engagement, right? Everyone knows how to do customer engagement. Not everyone knows how to do incident comms. So I guess he's probably taken it more from the most complex demonstration rather than the cool. So where's my
But that's also his core competency, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff he does is crisis comms. No one does it like Eagle.
gosh. So I don't know if I should delete these. Sorry, download these or run it from here.
Okay.
So who wants to do one? So I mean, like even these slides, it's really. I mean, honestly, I find it pretty tacky.
It is pretty tacky, and it's
Yeah.
it's like a really elitist way to present, because surely you want to tailor the solution rather than say like, here are all the various solutions we've provided, because that's
Yeah.
completely irrelevant.
And to start with this, that's
it's a bit wanky.
it is. And not yes, it's yeah. I don't know. I've never pulled it out. If anything, I've put these last.
Well,
yeah, it would work as a kind of like
By the
credit
way,
screen.
yeah.
it's it's an interesting one because
It's arrogant. That's
I've,
what it is.
spo-
Yeah,
I've
that's
spoken to. I remember speaking to Charlie about this, and his theory is that he puts that at the start. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. He puts that at the start because there are usually a bunch of questions about the Whisper platforms, information security, resiliency, reliability, etc.
Is that really the first thing you talk about?
Well, I would put an agenda thing in there, a bit like that one. And then I would then put a little bit about who we are. What Whisper does. I don't really do a who we are one, but yeah.
Surely people would want to know how it works and what it does before they'd start asking questions about security.
So if anything, for small customers, give some form of credibility. If I was, again, getting presented to like the refrigeration company, and they'll say, who are you guys? I don't believe anything you say. I guess you could pull it up and say, hey, look, we're not a fly-by-night crew.
All companies, every company I've worked for has at least one slide that speaks to, gives a snapshot of their customers.
But what you just said is almost exactly like that page. It's just saying that, like, because it's been done previously, it's therefore correct.
No,
Because that's
not saying that.
Mm.
What I was going to say is that every company I've worked for does have at least one slide on that with some logos on it, because you inevitably
Just adds validity.
get questions about certain aspects of the platform that you can implicitly answer with slides like these. And also it adds credibility. And the reality is, we live in a world of results, and we as a sales team, I guess not so much yourself from marketing, but we as a sales team are driven by results, and it adds credibility to our platform.
Yeah, I understand.
To be able to say that, if we didn't have any banking customers and then we landed NAB or something, we'd want to tell the world, because it has so many knock-on effects for business. We can acquire other business off the back of that, and that's just the way it works with winning business and generating revenue. So I think it serves a
I don't
purpose.
see the value at all in it. Like, I'm sure it does serve a purpose, just like not straight up front is what I'm saying. It's more the order of it, rather than like
What are we talking
saying
about?
get rid of it altogether.
Yeah, look,
These logo slides.
Yeah, no, that's, hold on a second.
it's
When
up
are they
to
being presented?
I would
Start,
put these at the end.
No, I reckon it'll be done at the start. The only reason I reckon it needs to be done at the start is when you're presenting to people like Charlie's, that's what
Telstra
Charlie
Business.
did at Telstra Business. When you just stuff with like Igor, it's at the back end. The higher stuff.
Yeah,
I agree.
I wouldn't
Right.
disagree with that.
All right, who wants to present?
I'll do it.
It says about whips here.
Oh, God.
That's what we need you.
Oh, God. That is, yeah.
I found, I was presenting to a customer, showing them the RSS feeds on the V-Line website, and they've spelt disruptions on the V-Line website, disruptions.
Jesus.
Good pickup. I don't know how much.
We blame that one on who creates these things, marketing.
Yeah, I'm going to Slack into. Do they have Slack on here?
Although I'm sure some of the aspirational slides in here would be like, probably like Jeremy from years
So
ago.
would it be Anna?
What?
So who's doing it first?
Huh? Alright, I'll do it. But I completely changed the slides and which ones I'm not going to present them all.
So where are they?
Where should I upload them?
Yeah, because I'm running them on here.
Yeah, cool. I'll just give me a second.
Can you?
Just Google Drive it, yeah?
Yes, please, and share with me. So what did you think of Eagles? Did you like it?
I did like it. Yeah, it was super engaging. My only problem was with the deck because it didn't seem to relate, and you didn't have time to read it and understand
So
But his
again,
style of presentation was
I like
It makes it look so easy.
Yeah,
that
I'm
presentation
sure.
because
Yeah.
it's irrelevant to the PowerPoint, right? If
Yeah.
I want to be one of those guys that are going to read the PowerPoint, that's cool, but
Yeah.
it is literally just telling a story, right?
it's nice to have in the background because it looks legit.
I mean, yeah,
but,
you can put pictures on there. They shouldn't really matter.
but it was particularly the
Just email it to me, man.
it was particularly the conflation of concepts which he clearly knew back to front with concrete examples that were relevant.
So you can see that was more really targeted to incident management and crisis communications, but again, it's still relevant.
It's very
to everyone else.
solution-based.
Yes.
So make sure I've got the right one. So change.
Yeah, and I mean, really, it's up to you to adapt your PowerPoint presentation to your style, right? If you want to,
We're presenting on Tom TV.
yeah.
So,
So again, you want to keep it simple, man. Like
Yeah,
even
I don't
talking
even-
to TB, I wouldn't even do stuff like this.
no way. No point.
This one, definitely.
Not so much.
No. So I delete all of those. All of them. Just like,
You can keep that. This one's okay, I guess, but I wouldn't.
I'll show you what I've
The one
done
after
anyway.
this-
Yes,
This one, well, no, because
No, I'll put that in there.
I like this. So
That-
you can either choose this one
That
or
one needs
this
to be
one.
in there as well.
And these, I don't know. I really have a big problem with a few of these. I like this one, but again, it's like how much time do you spend? It's just name dropping. We do operational comms, we do customer engagement, we do
That's
business
really-
resilience. And there's too many different variations. Yeah, and this is just a variation of Igor's old.
I think I put that up.
I like Igor's one better than this one.
that's what I was saying.
I think Lockie's modified this based on what he was told to modify. So what do you think? Do you like this, Kirsty? Do you like this version or do you like
I prefer Eagles.
the Eagles?
In terms of content, Soul just looks nice. And it's all
Yeah.
Telstrified with the little rainbow colours thing going across. But, yeah.
I
So
mean,
do you know which one I was
think-
talking about?
Yeah, I
Eagles?
think Eagles is easier to understand.
Yeah.
That one looks nicer, but
Yes. And
but it's in the explanation as well.
I would say this needs to be at the top. I don't know why this is at the bottom.
Uh,
yeah,
It just
actually.
takes up like 5 minutes of the presentation, really.
Yeah, this is where you should be spending most of your time.
yeah, when I came across this one today, from First Call, I thought, great, and I'd already pasted it in, but I would prefer to use Eagles, and maybe just make sure it's on brand.
So
or
did you
whatever.
send it? Where is it? In my
The Eagles presentation really aren't that different to say Charlie's. It's just when it starts getting.
where is it, man?
I'll just email it to you.
Did you?
Do it again.
Don't tell me it's like 30 meg something.
New slide deck.
Look at it. 10.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's right. And one thing that his is missing is industry specific content. So you can see here, like we've got example workflows, and that's one thing Igor doesn't do is when you're talking about the demo, it's nice to have these up on the screen to show exactly what's happening. Because once messages start flying, people can't keep up. Like if you're running the crisis management and your messages are going, if you just look out the window and you go, what was going on? Huh? And everyone's like on conference calls and getting messages. I'm like, sorry, what's going on? I need to be able to look at that and go, oh, right, we're up to number 3. We're doing the voice escalation, right? So that's another thing. I mean,
You
Igor
run them after all of this.
Yeah, so in Igor's presentation, when he starts the demonstration, it's good to have these things up there. I tend to like these and put these up there. So have a crisis management. So there you go. You do reference the customers once again. So one of the use cases, like if we do say, right, so retail, customer engagement, you got this one. This is nice and easy. Who are your customers, your audiences, existing customers, new customers, text in. Send the message out, talk about the message, look at the reports via the platform.
East.
There it is.
This is mine?
Yep.
Where can I?
Your time to shine. No, that's okay. I'll run it and you talk to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm presenting to a client. So now I've taken out a lot of the slides because most of the companies I'm going to be presenting to are going to be TV.
1 second, man. Sorry, I just got to make sure this is working. So we have.
Yes, yeah, your screen share is okay.
I know, but I'm screen sharing the wrong. New slide deck. That's the one.
It's like short.
I'll hand it over. All right, chill. So just run it from the PowerPoint. You don't need to worry about anything else.
So just a brief introduction. I've taken out a fair few of those slides because most of the customers are going to be presenting to are going to be touch to business, smaller businesses, and stuff like that. So this is Whisper. Welcome. Now, for the agenda today, we'll just talk about communication and the challenges. Who is Whisper? What we're about. Challenges that we address, and what is the Whisper solution. We have a couple of use cases. I've taken the use cases out, and then we'll go to some questions and next step. So these are some of the companies we work with, the large ones, the enterprise customers. So obviously anywhere from Chanel to Coca-Cola, Post. In the small to medium business market, these are the other companies that we work with. And I forget about that one. So about Whisper. So Whisper channel partners range from regional businesses, affiliates through global alliance and trusted corporations. We do span a large range of companies and offer them solutions. Go there. So in terms of the scope worldwide, the blue represents where we, the organizations that we do deliver to and so forth. Now, Whisper capability. So Whisper is essentially a cloud-based software as a service communication platform. And what we represent is the ability to not only communicate via SMS, voice, email, cross-channel messaging, rich messaging, event reminders, interactive forms. We really do everything in terms of communication and messaging. Now, so business solutions and the cross capabilities of the Whisper platform basically span to do 3 different things. So we've got operational communications, we've got customer engagement, and business resilience. So we'll take a bit of a deeper look into that. So in terms of operational communications and how we can help your company run better. So billing notifications, conference calls, staff notifications, shift notifications, which is a big one, effective communication and staff training. With customer engagement, we've got customer code notifications, customer marketing, promotional offers. So this can extend as far as marketing goes as well. Customer satisfaction, so making sure that we send out reminders to customers saying, how did the process go? Were you happy with it? what's going to happen along those lines. And then business resilience, which is what we're talking about, obviously, legal for crisis management, community comms, product updates, service management, and so forth. That's just a Venn diagram there. And going over that before. Now, in terms of communication workflow, we do like to separate what we, into either business resilience, operational communication, or customer engagement. And then basically from that, we work along a timeline. So what information do I need and what do I need to send and what action do I need to initiate? And then so whether it's an executive, staff, suppliers, community and customers. So who needs to receive these messages? Because it's extremely important to make sure that the messages and the communications are getting to the right people at the right time and in the right fashion. And that moves up to our next stage. So timely, it's going to be timely and a messaging service. The right channels and forms of communications do need to be represented to the customer or the client, or those people working within your organization. And then location. Next one, that was pretty much it. So questions and steps and we're going to go from there. That's why I did cut it down, just from what I've seen Charlie do and so forth. I don't think there need to be much more, to be honest.
Okay.
So feedback.
So first of all, I was going to say these slides,
Yeah,
cut it down to one, man.
get rid of those ones.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anything, just keep
That one.
that one. Like, this is too small to read.
Yeah,
This is okay. I mean, you could just talk to each of the points if you're confident enough around this. But yeah, these ones, just get rid of them.
just get rid of them.
Again, if you want to, you can spend time. If you're going to keep these three, just get rid of
So
everything else.
More in focus to say to us, what company I was speaking to, because obviously I have a bit of background before that. So they needed to do notification stuff training, and I speak more to that.
Sorry? Say again?
I know who I was talking to before I gave the presentation.
That's cool, yeah.
If it was, if they needed staff training or shoot notification, which is a big thing, I'll be sending out a lot of those.
If anything, I was going to say also, don't read from the slides.
Yeah.
You just got to practice it
Yeah.
more often. I mean, if you're going to sit here and read each one of these points,
No point.
yeah. So if you want, again, in terms of when you target it to the customer, this is part where you target it to the customer. You choose, for example, you are the refrigeration company. You're going to be doing customer engagement. You're going to be doing operational comms, right? So take an example. Say operational comms. How would you send out your operational comms? You need to target it specifically to certain people.
Yeah.
If you're going to be sending a message to your staff and suppliers, it will have different content to what you would send to your executive team, right? Executive team, you'd like to keep it short, sharp, and brief, getting to know updates of the latest suppliers and the latest operational, stock, inventory, latest shipments, and latest sales, right? So that could be sent via an SMS with an attachment to monthly sales targets or something like that, or stock targets, or anything you want. If you're sending a message to your staff and suppliers, how would you like to send that message? You can target it either via email, if it's just the daily stock status or the latest shipping notification. When do you want to send it? You would obviously send it business hours. However, if you're sending it to an executive, maybe after hours is fine. Again, it depends on the target audience, depends on the content of the message, right? You're not going to send an executive 1 a.m. in the morning the monthly status of the shipment, right? It doesn't work like that. Channel and device. Sometimes email is fine. Sometimes you might need to send an SMS along with it. In certain cases, you want to use a voice communication in the event of a crisis, in the event of an incident, or in the event of you need an action performed right now. Location-based, again, you might have different warehouses across the industry. You might have different warehouses across Melbourne, across Victoria. You again need to target that information via distribution list, via contact information, right? And then again, time, action, location. What do you want these people to know? Is it just informational, or do you need them to follow an action? Do they need to give their latest version of their stock updates back to you? Do you need a response? Location-based, do you need to pass that information on automatically to your own suppliers? Would you like to automate that? Would you like to manually trigger that? Okay, so again, give an example in this part here. This is, again, the most important slide that you want to do. And again, this is where you'll target your presentation specifically to the person in the room, right? You don't have to target it in the rest of the presentation. You don't need to know exactly who you're talking to until this point in time, right? If I have the CEO with me, again, talk about executive comms and talk about how easily we can fit into the existing operational processes within the organization, right? Simple and easy to interface into CRMs. Again, I'm getting into solution, but that's my thing, right?
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
So again, keep it brief, keep it simple.
Because
Right.
the thing with this part of the presentation, from what I've seen, is it's a very 2-3 minute thing. It
Mhm.
shouldn't take up the majority of the
This?
presentation. No, because you already know who you're going to present to and basically where you're coming from.
I would spend the most time on this, if
Really?
anything, yeah.
Yeah, that and another slide that,
Again,
Well,
I'm
and,
talking from my point of view because I'm solution architect, right? I talk about solutions and fixing all your problems, right?
Yeah.
So you're probably talking about,
So most of the time I know who I was going to present to and what type of like templates and solutions that I could offer them from the start. And that's when I really start to have conversations with them and dialogue.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Me? So the main
feedback for Christian.
the main thing was that you really need to bring back the technical and industry jargon. So that's all on the screen, which is fine, but it kind of just washes over you when you're listening to it. So you can't, like, instead of saying cross-industry capacity, just say really basically like these are the different industries we work across, or even more basically like these are the different areas we work across. Like you really need to say it as colloquially as you can so that they listen, because all of the industry jargon is up on the screen, which is fine, but like, yeah, you need to explain what it means. And even with words like timely and any other like generic terms you're going to be using, don't say timely, give an example of what that means. Or if you will say timely, like give an example of like how you can schedule messages and stuff. You can't, if you're going to use generic terms, you need to back it up with hard and fast examples.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
That's me.
That was going to say, good feedback. I mean, again, it's hard because you're targeting SMB, man. You need to get to the point how we're going to fix all your problems right now, right? We have templates, we can do appointment reminders, we can fix all your problem right now. So again, I'm not used to selling to small.
Yeah.
I can sell the dream, but I can't sell template packs. Who wants to have a go?
I'll go next.
Did you send me the, sorry, I think we're running way over time, but is everyone okay?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got until 12, score.
Okay, 2, 6,
I have not prepared a slide deck.
That's okay. So you're going to give the best presentation because yours is going to be ad hoc.
So many slides, dude. There's like 90. That's right.
Just checking the file name. Presentation. Come on, find it. Oh yeah. All right. Sent. So can I just deliver it from here?
Look at keyboard. You look for your laptop board.
Fine, I'll take that.
Is this August?
Yeah.
Sucks that you have to click present to everyone again. It's like, how many times do I have to? Yes.
Is anyone else joining us?
Nah. I don't know. Charlie was meant to, but he just didn't show up. So
Yeah.
he'd contact us if he couldn't get on.
Okay. You can start if you want.
Hi, everyone.
No, as in
You need an
hit
introduction.
F5, dude.
Oh, that's okay. Run from me.
No, I've got my notes. They're
Oh,
different.
you've got the keyboard, so you can hit F5.
Oh. Okay. Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't even realize. All right.
It's gonna be a 2-hour presentation.
Have a slide. About 90.
Did you say 90?
I haven't adjusted anything, so.
Yeah. Start culling, and towards the end you'll find a lot of industry specific stuff that, as far as today goes, we probably don't need to go in because we're presenting hypothetically. Yes, good afternoon, everyone, etc., etc. Let me jump into the presentation. So, how we're going to start off, we're just going to do a brief overview of the Whisper platform, what it can do, potentially how it can help you, and then next steps we'll jump into the platform demonstration. So, like I mentioned, just an overview of the platform, but first, here's just a snapshot of some of our customers to help address any questions about aspects like information security on the platform, our stability, resiliency, etc. And at the same time giving you a bit of an idea of some of the customers that we've worked with from an enterprise vertical, a couple of small to medium businesses here, and lastly some customers of ours that have integrated to the Whisper platform via API. What is a Whisper platform? I use this sentence. It is a little bit generalist, but does sum up things in a cute way. Whisper is a SaaS multi-channel communications platform. Makes it easy to engage with the right people at the right time over the preferred channel, take the right action based on their response. Really, this slide's talking to the capability for relevant and effective communications with the Whisper platform, and obviously using the preferred channel. Being a SaaS platform, we are scalable, repeatable. It makes that easier as a solution for you to manage and eventually roll out across your entire business. Next slide. So what kind of business communications does the Whisper platform cover? Whisper supports a wide range of use cases across all business functions. We've split it up here into 3 different functions: business resilience, operational comms, and customer engagement. And this is the point where I'd start to talk based on what I know about the customer. Which of these three, if not all of them, will apply to their use case. So the next slide from here just gives you a little bit of an example of the kinds of use cases, ways to utilize the Whisper platform in these three business functions that we've predefined. A lot of information there. I can send through the slide deck later. But again, maybe spend about 60 seconds if there's one here in particular. So say it's operational comms, you're a logistics company, look at operational communications in terms of sending your employees, your drivers, your removalists, shift notifications, offering shifts, rostering information. So at the start of the week, letting them know when they're working, and then job dispatch information when they're out on the road, letting them know where they need to go, when they need to be there, and if plans change, that they need to be informed, in a dynamic and time-sensitive manner. So yeah, that one can be as long or short as you like, as an aside. Platform itself, how do we go about creating or designing communications workflows? Now, obviously, when I do this, I probably would use Igor's slide instead of this one, and maybe try to make it look like it belongs in this slide deck. So what we've got here is a step-by-step process where we go through and clearly define, firstly, the objectives of the communications that we're putting out, who the recipients are, the details as to the how and when, and then look at the outcomes and next steps and how they relate to the objectives. So when we look at, again, logistics company sending out operational communications, sending out rostering info, what are we trying to achieve here? We're trying to inform our staff of when they're working, where they need to be, and any other relevant information. Why are we doing that? We're doing that because if they don't know, or if they don't receive the information in time, it creates a bunch of inefficiencies in our business. So we need to figure out what we're trying to achieve by what we do. Who needs to receive it? Obviously, in this case, employees that are working. How and when is, I guess, fairly straightforward. Needs to be, at a palatable time of the day. And obviously, when we look at channel, we're looking at usually mobile communications to deal with that sort of demographic, basically to ensure that they read it, and then look at the outcomes. What are we trying to achieve? We're trying to, what have we achieved, rather, and where do we go from there? Are we expecting them to respond? Are we going to be analyzing and reporting on responses, or rather just the efficacy of the objectives? Do we cancel out all the inefficiencies that we've had in the past with rostering issues, for example, under HR? So just an example of what we do in the Whisper platform in terms of designing workflows, and one of the things that is unique about the Whisper platform is the ability to design and customize your own workflow, and incorporate multiple communication channels into that. So the next slide really speaks to the multi-channel aspect. The Whisper platform, obviously a lot going on here. What are we capable of, and which communication channels do we support? On the left, you've got the various ways in which we can start.
Oh, sorry.
Various triggers that we can start our communications or conversation on the Whisper platform. Things like the web interface, mobile apps, SMS in, email in. So just the ability to pull in from almost any communication channel and trigger a communication or conversation through that. And then when you look at the right, you look at all the different ways and channels in which we can push things out, whether it's retrievable or targeted communications rather, so SMS, email, voice, and rich messaging through mobile web. We've got retrievable communications, the ability to email in, SMS in, call in, and retrieve information that's been posted there. Published communications, whether it's through a Whisper private portal or your own internal or external sites, and that's basically publishing social media posts, RSS feeds, CAP XML feeds, etc. Integrated comms is more about machine to machine, so vehicle tracking devices and things like that, where the machines or the equipment detect an issue. And lastly, mobile apps. And out of that list, we really focus on Composer and OneClick. And usually I have a slide after this on OneClick, but since I don't have a texting demo, I just go to the next steps, which is jumping into the platform demo.
Cool.
Where did you get that one from?
Which one?
Presentation.
That's the first full deck.
Various sources.
That's different.
It is a little bit different, but
Definitely different from what we got.
It is.
Yeah, that's different.
well, I've
He's just moved it around a bit.
I've just taken everything out and
Grow up.
started again.
Which part's different?
Grow up. That's different.
Oh, that's
That.
I know we had that. Remember this
Oh,
was
that's
wrong.
probably, no.
The agenda.
I must say, yeah. The agenda wasn't in it.
Just make the agenda up.
It's not going to make or break your presentation. This other one has an agenda, doesn't it?
Yeah, this looks a little bit different.
Just like the agenda.
Oh no, wait. There, it's got an agenda here. Cool. Kirsty can go first. What do you think?
I really phased out just because it was the same problem. It was like you use terms like enterprise vertical, stability, resiliency, etc. Like our customers who have integrated to the channel via API, and it just didn't make sense.
I didn't say integrated into the channel. That doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, there we go. Well, regardless, yeah, it just needs to be like brought back down again to earth. It's not about sounding smart, which you do, but it's about getting the message across. So like you can sound smart, but it won't mean anything to the people who are listening to you, you know?
In his defense, most of the clients that we will be dealing with will understand it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just like it,
I'm
even
saying
just
that you're not
using
wrong,
like,
that's a valid point, but
even just using full sentences, because a lot of it was list making and it felt really like staccato. Yeah.
That's part of the point. That's part of the aim is to have, I guess, concise communication, because if you
You can
If
be
you're reading it out
concise
like a
and still
novel,
make sense.
if you're reading it out like a novel, then
No, I'm not saying write a novel. I'm just saying like,
Yeah, you're supposed to make it a conversation, right? Engage with the people.
well, yes and no. I mean, the conversation is for before and after.
Mm,
I would- I don't often get questions during the slide deck.
I love questions during the slide deck. I'll interrupt me and I'll rather take a question than rather do a slide deck.
Yeah, no, I get that, and occasionally there are questions, but I would prefer, and my experience, especially with the Telstra channel, is if you let them ask questions during the slide deck, then shit just gets derailed.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm not talking about like when I say it's staccato and it needs to be more conversational. I'm like, it's not that you're being concise and it's not that you're being efficient in the way you're communicating. Like it's list making, but it's also a lot of filler words, like kind of, sort of, a little bit of, which you used. So like just
Sure.
making full sentences,
Okay.
make it more.
Be conscious of that.
The one thing is that one needs to be explained better.
I think every time I go over this, I say to myself, I've got to come back to the middle bit, and I always forget to do it. And
So
that's-
the way you talk to this, again, this is my point of view. You take, right, this is the way we do communication within Whisper. We can take any source, any message as an input.
Yep.
We can action that message. So you can either create another message. You can, so you've got all the different things you can do with it. So you can create another message. You can take the input and turn it into a voice call. You can take the SMS and translate that into an email, right?
Yeah.
This is when the cross communication comes in, right?
It's a hard slide to communicate.
No, that's good. You don't have to read it, man. That's what I'm saying. Input, your action, and your output. That's effectively all you need to talk about, right? Again, you don't need to go into, right, Rich Message Studio is a thing where you do stuff, right? Again, this part is when you can talk about all the outputs that you can. Again, so you don't have to cover every single one of those. You can talk about, right, targeted communication. I can send a message to a particular distribution group that you've already set within the platform via your, there you go, orchestrate and automate, right? Your retrieval communication. Say a person misses a message. How will they be able to go back and retrieve that message? Either via a text-in number or an email-in number or even via an IVR. Pick up a phone, dial a number, press a code, and you're able to retrieve your voice call, right? Publish communication, meaning we can publish to social media, we can publish to CAP XML, which is just an emergency broadcast, or anything you want. Again, you have website publishing, right? Integrated comms, again, is really what you can talk about. So we can integrate into third-party software, either via email in or our REST API, which is for developers to create and integrate to your own platform. And then finally, we have our own set of mobile applications. Some of them are used for crisis communication, such as the One-Click app. Some of them are used for ad hoc communication on the spot via your phone. And some of them are for internal communication for your organization, right? Again, I don't get into that because that's no-go zone for you guys listening. And that's it, really. So you're breaking it down. You don't have to sit there and go, oh, right, information hotlines. Don't read from it. It sucks when people read from the. I'm going to get Kirsty to critique my presentation. Good advice.
I know she does.
Yeah, thanks.
Is there anything else?
No, there's just one small typo on that slide. Mobile apps, one click is meant to be one word. Yeah.
Yeah,
think that's-
the marketing team needs to.
I think it's, yeah, that's an image. We can't really.
Yeah,
Someone
we do
else.
it, mate.
Did you send it through? Or you want to just run which one?
Just the 90 slide one, but can you control it so I don't help you have to use the slides?
But you need to tell me which ones to skip over. Let me just close the. I'm going to get Kirsty to run one.
I want to put Kirsty like an hour to get that one over this stuff.
They're better and sound mean. I'm just trying to be helpful.
I remember the first
Niches.
presentation I went with Igor. I was like, oh, that's really, really simple. But the fact that he's done it that
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah, of course. It's
You don't
It
even-
makes it look seamless.
Yeah.
You just look at easy. But
Yeah.
then when you actually present it to the client, then.
You ready?
Good to go?
Yeah.
Cool. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ben Newman. I'm one of the account managers for Whisper. I've been at the company for a little bit now, and I'm here today to present to you the Whisper platform and how you guys can use it and incorporate it into your everyday business. So on today's agenda, I'll give you a quick overview of what we're going to be running through. we'll be running through today's communication challenges, what you guys might experience right now with your current system and how we can look about to improve it. I'll talk about Whisper as general as a platform as well, what we can do, how we can help you as well. We'll address all the challenges that you might meet, which we will discuss later below when you do have questions. And also the industry in which we can help, whether it be business resilience, customer engagement, health industries, communications. We can all run through that. So we'll just go to the next slide. So in today's challenges in terms of communications is the whole globalization. So today there's a lot of dependence on social media, text messaging rather than just normal text and calling, which we used to do a while ago. And you want to improve the customer experience as well. You want to give them something they can remember and they would more likely respond to, rather than just give them a quick call and just leaving them a message when they're not there. Integration as well. You want to, if you have a system that you're comfortable with, we of course can integrate it, our platform, with the one you're currently using to make the transition period a little bit easier for you guys. And reporting and analysis section is done very well in the Whisper platform because we do have a very easy to use audit trail that you guys will find very attractive as well. So these are some of our clients here. The enterprise ones are some of the bigger names you'll see, Coca-Cola, Chanel, McDonald's. It's mainly put here so we can show you our security as well. If you see on the top left, we do have the Australian Government, Department of something, and Department of Employment. So we do have a degree of security. Yeah.
So again, just the term security, just talk credibility. We've been around a long time. There you go.
And then we have the API, which you guys can integrate into your system. Some of our global channel partners are here as well. So we're not just based in Australia. We do get rid of that as well. We do expand globally. We do have offices in America, and we're currently expanding in Asia as well. So just an overview of Whisper. Whisper is a SaaS, so it's a software as a service. It's a cloud-based solution that helps people communicate with each other through the right people, through the right method, and through the preferred channel as well. So going on to the next one, we have digital communications and transformations. So you see that we'll operate in three major areas where it has business resilience. So in case of emergencies that we can help address, get the right message to the right people. Operational communications is a daily communication between the staff itself. So it's very automated. It happens every day. So we can kind of help it, help the process become a little bit easier on a day-to-day basis. And of course, you have the customer engagement, which a lot of retail industries will find very beneficial, especially when you reach out and try to get some feedback to improve your business as a whole as well. So we're not just a messaging company, we're also there to help other aspects of your business as well. So in terms of our capabilities, we have a lot to offer as a messaging communication platform. Okay.
Do you want to do this one or this one?
I don't mind. Let's do this one.
Okay.
So we have cross-channel messaging. So cross-channel, we'll be talking about different ways and methods of sending around a message, whether it be text, be a phone call, we can publish to social media, websites, whatever the cut through is the greatest for your particular business, we'll aim to do that. We have also two-way communication. So it's extremely important in an emergency incidents where you don't want to just send out a message. You want to have some information back and then adjust your process from that. Reporting analysis, we can set rules to have your reporting come very nice presentation so you can quickly read it. And we can do other things like notifications, like appointment notifications, billing notifications. There's a wide variety of things Whisper can do to help. I don't need to do that one as well. Cool. So these are some of our business solutions which we ran before. These include operational communications, customer engagement, and business resilience. Starting from that, we can kind of expand from these three big areas and go to the little details. These include, So these include emergency response, business resilience, crisis management. Say something happens on site and you want to notify everyone, that will come under crisis management and emergency response. Operational communications, we mainly deal with generic things like shift notification, staff training, but we can give other solutions that aren't actually on the template. For example, if you want to know where your workers are at a particular site, it might not be on the PowerPoint now, but we can work with the program, the platform itself, and try and find a solution for you guys. Customer engagement, you'll have all the normal ones like customer feedback, customer training. You can have it send out information to them, tell them more about your business. That's all about the customer engagement. So we have a communication workflow here. So besides just sending a message, we can create a step-by-step process that gets you from your objective, what you want, to the end result, and what you want to happen. So looking at business resilience, that's mainly crisis management, emergency incidents. So in that case, you want your messages or your information to be sent out quite quickly and quite urgently as well. Operational communications, you'll tailor that depending on how urgent it is as well. Usually it's just a day-by-day thing and you'll be okay with that. Then customer engagement, it's not a real important urgency, should I say, but you can send it through an email and they can respond whenever they like to. It's not of highest priority. Next one is who is sending the message, who's receiving the message. So it might be someone's high up as an executive, in which something quite concise, quick, and with a good cut through would be most ideal. Going down to staff and suppliers, they might need a phone call if you're calling to wake them up, or it's just a simple text message as a reminder with a message alert, because it kind of gets their attention to the message. Communities and customers, those guys, the cut through, depending on the cut through, you might send an email, text message, whatever it might be. Following on from that workflow, you have the timing as well. So what we can do is we can schedule a particular message or workflow to kick off at a particular time or a particular incident. We can change the channel and device depending on which ones they're more likely to respond to. Say if you're aiming for a customer that's a very old person, may not have a smartphone, rather than giving them a text or written message, you might want to give them a call just to make sure they pick up and actually check. Locations, we can geographically map out the contacts. So if you want to send a message to a particular region rather than a particular set of people that you have, you can kind of work with that as well. And the response, action, and analysis, what we do from then, depending on how, I actually don't know what that slide means, but yeah.
I don't like that slide.
So this is the part where you would target the responses, right? So
I just don't like that slide.
that part, again, you're supposed to talk about, right, I've sent out my message, I've received the response, what do I do now? I want to either create an action, do I want to forward this information to my head of operations to say, hey, these are the people that are responding? Do I want to update a website? Do I want to update a feed? Do I want to update social media? Or do I want to update my location to something else? Or am I just happy to move on, right? Again, it's talking about the particular use case for it.
Okay. It's the next one.
So again, I mean, even if people don't do anything, you have it there for analysis later on, right? You have that information captured within the platform. It's there for you to have a look at and audit and disseminate at a later date if you want to, right? It's just
cool. So
don't worry about that.
All right.
Don't worry about that.
All right.
Is this the new slide deck? Where does this come from?
This is the slide deck on sales tools. So
Everybody's obviously changing their own, making their
So
own
this is
mind.
the base, right? You can use this. We can use whatever you want, man. It's really up to you.
Yeah, you'll find everyone in the sales team will have their own combination of slides because everyone's different as to how they conceptualize what Whisper does, how it does it, etc. And you guys will have your own slides as well. You'll customize this in your own way. Sure, looking at Igor's deck, for example, or anyone else's, Charlie's, Brad's, whoever, is a good guide to give you a structure, but you might find a slide in here that you like. And if that helps you explain, present, or conceptualize, then use it.
My done.
Yeah, that's it. And then you run through your demo. You can talk about use cases. It's more
Very
about.
confident.
It's good, man.
I really like your confidence.
You were doing it on the spot, man. I like that. It's good.
Yeah.
If you prepared, it would have actually been.
Yeah.
Cheers, Bert. Oh, thanks, man.
Sorry,
Oh,
Kirsty.
No, it was really good. You had really good pacing towards the beginning, so it was efficient, but it was said in a way that was easy to understand. The pacing kind of got lost towards the end, and you really did well at explaining things. But what I'd concentrate on now is picking your examples. So you explain things, but you don't need to run through maybe everything or give an example for everything, just for time management. Otherwise, it's brilliant. If you have 2 hours, it's great. But
That's
it was yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
The more you do it, the more concise.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
practice, man. Just keep practicing, keep running through it. Record yourself. I'm going to send this to you so you can all hear yourselves talking.
Not
That's
today.
it. I'm gonna book a time with you.
So
Need to
seriously,
get
if
back
you
to
guys
the
want,
marketing team.
Good time.
Just an hour. Done.
Yeah, just an hour.
Just an hour. Whenever you like to.
I've got articles to write.
Do you really? Do you have?
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Come
Come
join
So
sales
actually,
team.
you
Talk
can,
about marketing.
you
More
could
good
also
things.
see booking a time with like Brad or Eagle or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.